Talk That Talk with DivaSpeaks Relationships. My name is AnGala, Portorreal, and of course, we have another question in the inbox that we need to tackle. But before we get started, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to my Roku, the Apple TV, or the Amazon Fire, make sure that you add those channels on your devices today. And you can also catch my televised version of DivaSpeaks Relationships every second and fourth Friday of the month at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Spectrum Cable and AT&T Uverse. If you are in the Carolinas, those channels would be Channel 21 on Spectrum, Channel 99 on AT&T Uverse, and I also air on TDS TV. So if you are somewhere out there in the Carolinas and your service is TDS TV, check your local listings. For those of you who are not quite sure if you have those particular cable and or satellite services, just check your local listings to see if the DivaSpeaks Relationships talk show airs in your area. Otherwise, stay tuned and tune in to my talk show once again every second and fourth Friday of the month on those particular cable and satellite services. Add me on Apple, Roku, and Amazon Fire. You can also live stream my show on those dates at that time on Access 21's Roku channel, their Apple channel, as well as from the television station's website, which is tvaccess21.com. You can live stream it from the website, your cell phone, your tablets, your iPads, or whatever. Just stay tuned and stay connected. But that is where we're going to stop that right there. So listen, we have a question that was posed in the inbox, and I want to let you know beforehand, I have some personal experience and I have a point of reference for this particular question, and I've been waiting on it for quite some time. So let's get into it, okay? So, okay guys, I will not disappoint. So the question that was posed in the inbox is, buckle up, are you ready for this one? How can a woman be faithful to an unfaithful man? Once again, the question is, how can a woman be faithful to an unfaithful man? I've tried everything. I've tried very hard, but I can't do it anymore. That was the question. Once again, how can a woman remain faithful to an unfaithful man? My short answer is, how does a woman remain faithful in a relationship or marriage? How does a woman remain faithful to an unfaithful man? Again, my short answer is going to be by choice. By choice. And I know that you don't want to hear that, but when you decide to stay in a relationship, no matter what type of relationship it is, with a person that you know has been unfaithful and is continuously being unfaithful to you in that relationship, that marriage, then you have an obligation to yourself to do what's in your best interest, if only from a health standpoint. You can't place the responsibility on your unfaithful partner to make a decision that is best for you under circumstances like that. And let me tell you, woman to woman, I know exactly how you are feeling in those moments that you first discovered that your partner, your spouse has been unfaithful, and they have absolutely no remorse or regret about it. It's the cheating for me. It's the disrespect. It is the disgrace that you have to suffer along with the feelings of betrayal. I understand firsthand what it is to want a marriage or a relationship to work in spite of. Let's talk woman to woman. Can we have an honest conversation? It almost makes you have to pick and choose your poison. Having to pick your poison is a dangerous place to be, because to me it borderlines on desperation, and then attempting to hold on to something, or a relationship that has no signs or indication of getting better, because that person is absolutely enjoying the affair, that other person, or sees no consequences behind their behavior. Because when a person is a repeat offender and a habitual cheater, there's nothing that you can do to stop them. If there are no consequences, there is no incentive for them to change their behavior. And I want to be honest with you when I say this. I wish I could hold your hand when I tell you this, as a woman of a particular age that has experienced this in her lifetime before. There is absolutely no benefits that comes with staying in a relationship or marriage with a person who continues to be unfaithful. I need to repeat that for someone. I don't know who this is for, but I hope it blesses someone. It is the confirmation that you need to make a firm decision for yourself. There are absolutely no benefits to staying with a repeat offender, with a habitual cheater who has disgraced your relationship, your marriage, your covenant, your union, or whatever. No benefit. The only thing you're teaching that person, number one, could be how to cheat better when they get caught, how to be more effective in their cheating. Number two, the lack of respect that they will have for you. Number three, the embarrassment and the shame that comes along with staying in a relationship with an unfaithful partner and having your marital roles or your relationship matters be exposed to outsiders. Because not only are you aware that your man has been unfaithful, but so does the woman who he's creeping and cheating with in her circle, and more than likely his friends and family, and whoop to the whoop whoop whoop. I know it shouldn't matter, but it does. It does when you're trying to heal and move past it. And let me be clear, I also know, because I also experienced this, that there are certain groups, religious groups, that are dominating social media called standers, that advocate for you to stay in these types of relationships where your partner has been unfaithful, where your man has walked out on you and chosen another woman and picked up and started another life with another person, and maybe living with another person, may have another person, pregnant or whatever. There are groups, believe me, depending on how desperate you are, you can find whatever you are looking for. They are called standers, and they will stand for anything and have you standing for a lot. And while you're standing for a marriage or a relationship, to stay in it with a man, a partner who remains committed to the idea and the act of betrayal and constantly cheating on you, then your life is standing still when you stand for those types of relationships. I'm a firm believer that you really have to love yourself enough to walk away from a person who is putting your life at risk, who is causing you emotional distress behind their actions, behind a decision that they have intentionally made to dishonor the commitment that the two of you made together to each other. And I do understand that it's harder for some to make that decision for themselves, because a lot of people would justify, we have years invested, we're raising children, we have children together, I can't do it on my own because of finances. I don't know how to start over. There are an indefinite amount of reasons that you could have to justify your reason for staying in a relationship with an unfaithful man. But understand, once you make that decision to remain in a relationship or a marriage with an unfaithful man, with a man that you know can't keep his pecker in his pants, who is committed to embarrassing you out here in these streets, then you are no longer a victim. You are a volunteer to his shenanigans. And I don't care how many religious groups tell you to stand for that marriage. I can counter that with the Bible telling us that if the unbeliever wants to go, he is free to go, he or she. The Bible, okay, does not hold us in bondage when someone has been unfaithful in a relationship. You have a reason to put an end or put a stop to it. So attempting to force yourself to stay faithful to someone who is unfaithful to you, in my mind, is foolishness. What you need to do is be faithful to yourself. Let that be the word for you today. Be faithful to yourself. Tell yourself, I love you enough to get you out of this situation. I love you enough to separate from a person who is blatantly reckless with my heart. I refuse to stay in a relationship with a person who's going to come to bed and come home to me at night. But then again, when they get the urge or when they feel like going out in these streets and sleeping with somebody else, they're doing whatever their body tells them to do. I refuse to do that because I love myself too much. I just did a show where I said the best way to show someone how to love you properly is to love yourself. Once again, guys, if you're just now tuning in, we got a letter in the inbox from a woman who had a very, she had a question. She wanted to know because of the situation she finds herself in. And the question was posed, was, how can a woman be faithful to an unfaithful man? She lets us know that she's tried very hard. She's done everything, but she just can't seem to move forward and do that anymore. My short answer to her was, how do you move forward with being faithful to an unfaithful man? By choice. And you don't. You don't have to. You don't have to stand for disrespect in the attempt or in the effort under the guise of I'm standing for my marriage. You see, it takes two to stand for a marriage or a relationship. And to me, and it's just me, I told you guys at the beginning of this letter that I have a point of reference with a situation like this. The moment that you choose to stand for a marriage where infidelity, adultery has been committed, and that person has an unrepentant heart, that person has no remorse, that person sees no wrong in what they're doing, you owe it to yourself to move, walk on, leave, do whatever you need to with your life and yourself. When you stand for relationships like that, you are standing for foolishness. Because if there are no consequences for that type of behavior, when will they ever stop? There's no incentive for them to stop. And you are doing more damage to yourself than anything, hoping and praying that the God that you serve will suddenly change their heart posture and reposition it to focus back on you and the family. It's like you don't have to beg God in a plea of desperation to make a person want you. That's not how that should work. You shouldn't have to beg, plead, and cry and do all of this other stuff and stand for months and years hoping that your man will leave the other person and come back to you, because that's exactly what you're doing. Okay, when you stand for a relationship like this, when you are trying to remain faithful to a man that is unfaithful to you, you don't have to be unfaithful to him. That's what I'm not going to tell you to do. I'm not going to say be unfaithful back, tit for tat. That's not what we do over here. But I will tell you, if you put an end to the relationship, if you find the courage within yourself to walk away from that BS, from that foolishness, from that disrespect, from that level of disgrace, you will find what you need in a partner later on, in a spouse later on. You will. So how do you remain faithful to a man who's being unfaithful to you? You don't. I don't advise, nor do I encourage cheating. What I do encourage is leaving. You leave that situation. You leave, and you have to know that you deserve better than that. But if you want to stay and you want to go through a pattern of cheating and disrespect and finding out, every other month, every other week, every other year that your man has chosen another, or he has stepped outside of the relationship, go right ahead and stay in it, because he will never change. He will do exactly what he wants to do when he wants to do it, and you will be on the receiving end of suffering, okay? Suffering behind somebody that didn't value you enough to honor the commitment that the two of you made to one another. You don't have to cheat, but you do owe it to yourself to exit. Because, again, if there are no consequences for that behavior, what is the incentive for that person to change in how they treat you and how they are conducting themselves in your relationship? There are no benefits to you staying with an unfaithful partner, but there are consequences. It's called STDs, okay? It's called herpes, it's called HIV, it's called AIDS, it's called chlamydia, it's called gonorrhea, it's called herpes, it's called syphilis. There are so many things that could go wrong with you staying around with an unfaithful partner. Outside of the STDs, we're talking about something so precious as your peace of mind, being robbed of your peace of mind. So now, not only does that make him a cheater, but it makes him a thief. That's right. You stay with that man if you want to, and stay with him and call yourself being faithful to your unfaithful partner. You know what? Not only will he now be a cheater, a habitual cheater, but now he's a thief. He's a thief, girl. He's robbing you of your peace of mind, the stability in the relationship, your joy, your self-esteem, your confidence, the ability to hold your head up high and have a relationship that is adultery free. He's robbing you of that. That's what you call a thief. Why would you want to be with a thief and a cheater? You deserve so much more. Again, there are no benefits to staying faithful in a relationship to an unfaithful partner. I don't care what no one says, but there are consequences. You have to make up in your mind which one do you value the most. So the letter that we got today, the question that we got today was from someone who is experiencing a lot of turmoil in her relationship. And the question was posed, how do you remain faithful to a man who has been unfaithful and continues to be unfaithful? And I was like, you don't. But when you do so by choice, right? By your own free will. And when you do so, you have to be realistic in not having unrealistic expectations of the outcome. And you have to be okay with the fact that when you decide to remain faithful to an unfaithful man, to an unfaithful partner, that if they never change, the time that you spent standing for that relationship, the time that you spent being faithful to that unfaithful partner, are you okay with the time that was wasted, that you could have moved on with your life and allowed yourself to be free and available to someone who does understand the value in being committed and monogamous in a relationship? You have to be okay with standing still for your life when you decide to stand for a relationship in foolishness. That's my humble opinion. I'm going to stand on it, and I stand by it. What you need to do is, again, lead by example in this situation. The best way to show a person how to love you and how to respect you is to respect yourself, to love yourself, and remove yourself, if at all possible, from that situation and that relationship. I understand in today's society that there may be financial situations, or you're raising children, and it may not be that easy to come to a decision just like that. But when the opportunity presents itself, you have to have the courage to do what is right and best for you. Think about your health. Think about your peace of mind. Think about what you want your life to look like in the near future. You're thinking short term right now, because I'm sure, because I've lived with that before. The betrayal, the hurt, and the discovery of new information, and this and that and the third. It totally interrupts your world. It totally affects your peace. You have to decide I have to do better for myself and by myself. Okay? I have to do what's best for me in this situation. And it may not be remaining in that relationship. So guys, this was my answer. This is my response. Again, I'm going to stand on it and I'm going to stand by it because I don't think anybody deserves that type of emotional distress from your partner. In an effort to encourage you, I can tell you 100% that when you make up in your mind that you are going to move on from this situation, when you free yourself up from that situation and you allow yourself time to heal, love is out there. The right person will inevitably enter your life. You will cross paths. Love is out there. There will be someone out there willing to give you something that this person did not see the value in giving you, didn't see that it was important, or could care less about fulfilling that need within you and honoring that commitment to you. You free yourself up to be loved properly by someone who's going to treat you right. I guarantee you that. Let go, do the work, heal, and allow yourself to be loved on by someone. Take your time when you're doing it. Take your time, okay? Don't be in a rush. But love is out there. You can have it. You can find it. And what you gain when you do that is so much more than what you lost or what you think that you're losing. Because I know all the thoughts that come with making the decision to let go of that relationship, the expectation, the dreams, and that person. Everything that you gain in the aftermath is worth walking away from all of that foolishness. I don't know who that's for, but let me tell you, everything that you will gain in the long run when you let go, when you allow your hands to be free to accept new love and a new beginning, is worth all of that BS that you're leaving behind and walking away from. That's my word. That's my testimony. I'm here to tell you, woman to woman, it's so worth it. It's so worth it to be able to get a peaceful night's sleep. It's so worth it to have peace in your life, to have joy in your heart, to not have to worry about things like that and all of the drama, everything that comes with being with an unfaithful, unrepentant, nasty, hard, evil, corrupted soul, infected heart. Oh, it's just a relief, and the burden is lifted. So let this be of an encouragement to you today. This has been Talk That Talk with Diva Speaks Relationships. My name is AnGala Portorreal. Be sure to catch me every second and fourth Friday of the month on my televised version of Diva Speaks Relationships. Please add my channel. Here I go. Can't talk again, guys. Add my channel on Apple TV. It's Diva Speaks Relationships. Roku Television, Diva Speaks Relationships. Amazon Fire, Diva Speaks Relationships. And Facebook, Diva Speaks Relationships. See you there, guys.